It's great to have Manuf and Michael in the studio from Explosions in the Sky. Welcome to Australia for your first visit.
Hello, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, definitely.
It's taken you a while.
Yeah, I'll say.
Did someone not invite you quickly enough?
Well, no, we came once before a few years back, about 3 years ago, right? 3 years ago?
Okay,
In 2008. And, but yeah, it's been far too long since our return.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're here on the back of Take Care, Take Care, Take Care, your 6th album. You only stopped after 3 Take Cares. You could have kept. You could have.
We considered the 6, but no.
You've always had very sort of evocative album titles, haven't you? Tell us about the Take Care thing. It's I mean, it's very evocative in itself, and it can mean a lot of things.
Sure. I mean, just in that we're an instrumental act. Our album titles or song titles are really our only moments and an opportunity to kind of say something, in which you can read. And so we try to be very meticulous in what it is we elect to use as a album title or a song title. And a lot of deliberation goes on, and we speak about it and see what holds weight and what doesn't hold weight. And coming up with Take Care, Take Care, Take Care, and its simplicity is, I think, what got us. I think Mark read it in a novel, I don't know which one, but a character had written a letter to another character and signed it, Take Care, Take Care, Take Care, and it stuck.
And that in some way, did that sort of inspire the titles of the actual tracks on the album? That was Human Qualities, which we just heard.
Yeah, absolutely. It became sort of thematically, what all the songs became about. Just that idea of the sort of intrinsically emotional nature of a goodbye. In the United States, I'm sure it's the same here. Take care is just like a goodbye, but there's, as the words blend together, it's taking care and caretaking, and just that sort of idea of, that human connection.
Yes, and you've really sort of striven, it seems, over the years to kind of have that sort of emotional ride in your music because of the dynamics of it. Can you tell us a little bit about what it's like, to try to connect with people just through music and not through using any kind of lyrics?
No, absolutely.
Because it has its own challenges.
Of course. I mean, as far as, if we can go back to music from the 18th, 17th, 16th century and just think about what melody is capable of. And so how lucky for us that in this day and age that putting the right guitar lines together or the right drum beats can evoke some sort of emotional resonance or something like that. And so, I feel extremely lucky that we are able to do this with our lives and come up with these songs and people are eager to hear them. But we try not to be, dismissive by that fact either. We really think it through and we really want it to carry weight. These songs, these pieces must at first move us and then hope that it moves someone else. Never ever have we, never ever would we just write something arbitrarily. It all has to have meaning. It all has to kind of flow within itself. And these things are not so easy to do.
That's right. How do you do that as 4 musicians? It's not like you're falling in behind the lyrics that someone has written.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of trial and error. We just play together. Somebody will maybe come up with a melody or a guitar riff or a drum beat or something, and then we can just kind of play on that. And it's like Manaf said, whenever something moves us, that's when we want to follow it. That's when we spend time working on it. That's the beauty of music.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of bands work out their tunes in jam sessions or tinkling around together. Is that how it works with Explosions?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we, like Michael said, one of us brings a melody to the table. It might be Michael, myself, Mark, even Chris, who's on drums, who doesn't play guitar or anything like that, but he'll come hum us a melody and say, I was dreaming this up. What do you guys think? And we kind of go from there. And oftentimes things get passed over, things get pushed aside because, we are kind of a totalitarian entity here in which that every man has to be 100% into whatever it is that we're doing, especially songwriting-wise. If 2 guys or 3 guys are really into something and one guy's not feeling it, then it gets tossed. So a
lot of songs must hit the floor.
We hit way more
a
lot more than albums.
Yeah, and a lot more has gotten lost than has been found.
Right, yeah.
So.
Yeah. You have experimented with some vocals on the latest album, haven't you? It's a little bit of a new direction for the band, but more in a sort of textural sense, I suppose.
Yeah, just more as the vocal as an instrument as opposed to vehicle for language or something like that. Yeah.
And because you felt like you needed to move into a new direction, or
well, just expand the thought. I think we'll always be us or anybody over time, especially for as long as we've been doing this, being over a decade, that we are who we are. The idea is to kind of push the envelope of the sound that we're making. We don't want to rewrite the same song. I mean, it's not of interest to us. But so when introducing vocal melodies as texture, it's to expand the idea, rather than kind of change it completely or something like that.
I'm talking with Explosions in the Sky in the Triple R studios, or at least 2 of the 4 members from this Texan band. Let's hear a track, speaking of the fact that you've been around for 10 years, let's hear a track or a little of one from your first release from back in 2000. This is Glittering Blackness. Explosions in the Sky from their first release back in 2000, How Strange Innocence, and Glittering Blackness, the name of that tune, and Michael and Maloof from Explosions in the Sky with me in the Triple R studios. How do you feel 10 years down the track listening to that first album? Because the band's obviously, well, changed but not changed over the years.
Yeah. Grown, matured.
Yeah.
We found a little bit more of our own sound. I think for me, hearing that track, which was a blast from the past, it's still imitating. It's still young. It's still figuring itself out, and it's, you know, it's funny. I was just talking to somebody else just about this. Like, of all of the bands that kind of play the style of music, or the few that have really made something with it, being Mono or Mogwai, and I mean, the Dirty Three kind of stands by themselves. They were unique out of the gates, but you know, the rest of us all kind of shared this sound, and it wasn't until we got older, until we wrote some more albums, that we went in different directions and really found ourselves that way. So yeah, to hear this, to hear that track was just, yeah, some kids playing music that they admired and hadn't really figured out who they were yet.
Yes, and who did you admire when you started?
Well, many bands, you know, these bands came up. They were definitely people we were listening to, and you know, at that time in 98, 99, even earlier, you know, Mogwai's coming out in 96, Mono starting in about 99, Dirty Three is already running.
Godspeed's
right around there. Yeah. They've just started up maybe a year or two in, and yeah, it was exciting that this style of music could be accepted or desired, and we've kind of unconsciously began to play it. You know, it wasn't that we wanted to write these people's music. We were kind of moved by their music, and so we started to do our own thing. And yeah, it's not until an album later, two albums later really, and then so on, that I think we really became...
You found your feet.
Yeah.
It's tempting to see, you're from Texas, and I guess it's tempting to draw parallels between the expansiveness of the Texan landscape and the music that you create, but is that sort of drawing too long a bow, or do you actually feel like a connection to the environment you come from?
Of course, yeah, I'd say that's fair. You know, you're obviously influenced by your surroundings, no matter what they are, or no matter who you are. So even if it's not a conscious thing, definitely you're influenced by it. Yeah,
and are you from Austin, or?
Actually, we grew up in a small West Texas town called Midland.
Okay.
Is where 3/4 of the band comes from. The drummer Chris grew up in Rockford, Illinois, which, after long discussions and kind of, you know, telling each other about our childhoods, was very similar to Midland, except that it was in the north. But yeah, Mark, Michael, myself, and a few other faces of our tribe, meaning Esteban Ray, who does the artwork for us, our friend Carlos, who's on tour with us to help in additional melodies, Paulie, who helps us do lights. We all grew up in this small West Texas town. And
it's bush country, isn't it? As in presidents, not trees.
No, exactly.
So no doubt very conservative, I suppose.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. So we were all itching and eager to get out of there as quick as we could.
Yeah, right. How far is it from Austin? Like, was that a big move to...
Well, I mean, Texas is massive, so it's about 6 hours away, 5 or 6 hours away.
Culturally, a big move?
Huge move. I mean, a universe, you know, we had to jump, and Austin was far more accepting and liberal and artistic, and that's where we all kind of
we are
migrated.
Talking about the town the Butthole Surfers came from, so
exactly.
there we go.
13th floor elevators, and
of course,
you know,
Spooner from Austin.
And you'll know us by the Trail of Dead, American Analog set, you know.
We're talking about a very diverse set of bands, but a very defined kind of unique sounds, I suppose.
Absolutely,
is there something about Austin that kind of fosters, you know, individuality and difference? I mean, it's a very strong kind of college town, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. And there's so many just places to play, so many clubs, and people who are supportive of music. It's an amazing place for bands to kind of... you know, get their starts and really find an audience.
Tell us a little bit about the kerfuffle around your second album, Those Who Tell the Truth Shall Die and Those Who Tell the Truth Shall Live. The cover art caused a bit of a problem, didn't it? It was a picture, a photo, was it, of a plane going down?
Yeah, it's all perspective if it caused problems or not. I mean, it was all sensationalized journalism. You know, people love stories that kind of incite... conspiracy, I guess, I don't know, but
the album was released just prior to September 11 terrorist attacks, correct? So tell us what happened.
Well, so the name of the album, like you said, Those Who Tell the Truth Die, Those Who Tell the Truth Shall Live Forever, the plane, and inside, in one of the inside sleeves, it says, "This plane will crash tomorrow."
Right.
And people loved to connect that to what happened in the world when this was kind of a phrase that we had said to each other early on, and that it was going so well, how incredible that we're getting to play music and getting to tour, that it was a way for us to kind of keep ourselves, not to float away too far and saying, hey, enjoy it because this plane will crash tomorrow.
Yes.
You know? And now, boy, it turned into something far different. And but yeah, our name got picked up and people talked about it and said, you know, what is this and what's the connection and what were they trying to say? And we weren't trying to say anything. We were just
well, any publicity can be good publicity.
Absolutely. And so this is
Did you get your phones tapped though?
Who knows? Maybe.
Wait a minute, I didn't think about that. I don't like thinking about that. But no, like you're saying, yeah, any publicity is good publicity. So, you know, like I said, our name became some sort of name on a list of bands, you know, a name of a list of bands in which they were getting talked about simply for the name of their band.
Yes.
And we were one of them. And I think in turn it helped, and like this helped in that it got us known a little further. Maybe not for the right reasons, but then once our name was found and heard, then I think the music took care of the rest.
Yes. I'm talking with two of the members of Explosions in the Sky on Kinky Afro this afternoon here at Triple R. They're playing at Meredith Music Festival and also their own show this evening at the Forum Theatre, which will be glorious. How does the live experience of Explosions differ from what we hear on album?
It's a lot louder.
It's a lot louder.
There's a much more sort of visceral, physical experience. Yes.
Yeah, of course. You know, as with any show that we think is good, you know, we try to bring as much of our, you know, the physical part of it, the energy and excitement,
the movement.
Exactly.
You know, bands that we loved watching at live shows growing up, and even still today, they weren't flat-footed, and they were really kind of moved by the music, and it made you believe that they believed their music. And so this is something that we have tried to do for the last 12, 13 years, and I think I've gone somewhat decent at, in that the way our harmony, not just melodically, but the way we all move and how the songs and the sets move, that, yeah, it's a very, I mean, energetic would be a word, not the word, but yeah, it's kind of, it's intense, it's energetic, I don't know, I mean, there's a lot, I mean, we really give ourselves, and I think that those who come to see will see that.
Yes,
you know?
And you're playing a festival, so two very different environments in which to play live. I imagine you know strangers to the festival experience because you seem to be a band who would be very suited to that. And have you heard about the Meredith Festival? It's one of the best in the world, I think.
Right,
that's what we've heard. Yeah.
That's all we hear is how spectacular of a setup it is, and that it's so enjoyable, and so these things are, you know, encouraging in our visit tomorrow, because we've been to a couple of festivals that haven't been so exciting.
Well, there are a lot of people who put festivals on who don't take care of the audience and you know have a sort of fairly cynical approach to staging a festival, but you won't find that at Meredith.
Fantastic.
So I hope you enjoy yourself there.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming back to Australia on the back of your latest album, and I hope you enjoy your time here. It's been great talking to you